A common problem with metal building owners is installing exhaust fans. None of us are, well, there's a few of us, but very few of us are metal workers, and it's intimidating to think about cutting into the metal. And then once you put your exhaust fan in, how do you actually seal it and make it stable and structurally sound? Well, we have these Haslet frames. They fit around the ridges, and just to let you know, this is the very first one ever built. We have a patent pending on it, and you'll see that it fits around the ridges with a real tight fit. It keeps out the wind and the vermin and the water. So these things have been up for about 2 years and we've never had a leak. And I'm going to show you how you can purchase these Haslet frames and easily install your own exhaust fan. Many of us have metal buildings and you want to add a window or an exhaust fan, and one of the problems is all these metal buildings have ridges, and they have to have the ridges to give these thin metal sheets some bending strength. However, these ridges are always in the way. Either they're not where you need to put your fasteners, or you install something and it creates a gapping condition that allows water and vermin to come in. Our company, Haslet Products, has a solution. We've invented 2 different methods for you to solve this issue. One of them being the one-piece Haslet frame. It has filler material that matches the grooves and ridges of the panel. It lets you practically right out of the box. It'll let you put it right on the panel, and you can put it in with sheet metal screws right over your cutout. You also can use it as your cutout guide, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Another solution is our Haslet Frame Kit. If you've already got a cutout, you'll want to use our Haslet Frame Kit, and it comes in pieces to let you build your frame around your cutout. Before you order a Haslet frame, you got to tell us exactly what pattern you have. You would think that the building you have is the most common in the world. It turns out that's what I discovered is not true. This is called R panel. It's very common. It's about 60% of our business. The R panel has fairly large major ridges with 2 smaller ridges. The major ridge is 1.25 inches tall, although it's hard to measure the ridge height, but you can measure the distance between from center to center of the major ridges, and it comes out exactly 12 inches for the R panel. There may be other panels out there that also with 12 inches. If there's any doubt at all on identifying your panel, take a photo and send it to us. We'll help identify it. When you take a photo, put your measuring tape in the photo. It helps get a aspect ratio on exactly where we're at. And also tell us if your panels run vertically or horizontally. There's a lot of buildings, about 25% of them have the panels running horizontally. It makes a difference in how we construct your frame. Besides the R panel, a very common one is down here in Texas, it's called SM-Rib. Other parts of the country or different manufacturers may call it something else. I think it's called Max Rib in some cases. But it's let me get the measuring tape. It's a smaller ridge. It's only 3/4 inch tall, and it's 9 inches. It's got a 9-inch spacing between major ridges. It still has the 2 minor ridges. You barely can see it here, but it has a 9-inch repeating pattern, and it often is installed either vertically or horizontally. We have Haslet frame solutions for both these and other patterns. Just let us know what it is, or send us a photo and we'll help you identify it. Also, besides telling us the distance, if it's R panel or SM rib, and if it runs vertically or horizontally, let us know if the ridges are coming away from you. 99% of the time they install these things, which what I call the normal exterior side out. Ridges are out, the bump is towards us. But every so often you'll have a manufacturer who'll turn them around. I think they do it on purpose. It's called reverse formed. I'm not sure why they do it, but there are cases where we've shipped the frames out and they say, hey, it's totally opposite of what I need. It turns out that person had a reversed form frame. So just be sure to tell us if your ridges go the other way, away from you on the exterior side. It turns out it doesn't matter. We have Haslet frames for both the exterior side and the interior side. So we were able to just swap out his parts real quickly with our interior frame parts that he used on the outside. We have solutions for any kind of frame type, for any kind of pattern, so just let us know. One solution to this problem with the ridges is the one-piece Haslet frame. The Haslet one-piece frame already has a filler material with the grooves in it, and it will match the panel's grooves. The problem though is it only fit in one location for the pattern. Now you can adjust it up and down anywhere, and you can move it, but only you can't move it slightly. You can only move it 12 inches at a time. It's only at every pattern. So if you've already got a cutout, you cannot use the one-piece frame. The chances of it exactly fitting wherever your cutout is are practically zilch. What you want instead is our Haslet Frame Kit. The Haslet Frame Kit is a little cheaper because you do the work of building the frame. And the Haslet Frame Kit will fit any cutout anywhere, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. But meanwhile, here's your one-piece Haslet frame. Now this one's painted. There's an upcharge to paint them, about 15 bucks. If you can live with this chocolate brown color, and it does work on a lot of these metal buildings, you can just pay a little extra. I think it's 15 bucks right now, and we'll paint the frame for you, and so you can skip that step. When you get it out of the box and it's ready to go, first thing you do is put it where it's got a good fit, where you want it, and you hold it in place. Get out a magic marker and outline the interior perimeter with a nice magic marker. Make a real heavy one, because when you're cutting with your goggles on, you want to be able to see this line, and that is your cutout location. Your Haslet frame not only will be your frame, but it's also your marking guide for your cutout. You have to tell us the exact dimensions of your cutout. They come with the instructions for your exhaust fan or your window. Just because you buy a 24-inch fan does not mean the cutout's going to be 24 inches. It's almost always a little bigger. It could be as little as 24.5 inches, or it could be as much as 26 inches. It depends on the manufacturer, and so don't try to guess at it. You either look online and ask. Generally they got a PDF file that you can download of the actual manual, and it's in there. Or tell us the make and model of your fan that you're about to purchase or have already purchased, and we can look it up and verify it for you. But you got to tell us exactly what the cutout is for the manufacturer, and we will make the frame fit your cutout. Another choice you need to take is whether you want a 3.5 inch wide frame or a 5.5 inch wide frame. Technically we can do any width you want, but those are the two most common, and the reason is 3.5 and 5.5 are the same dimensions as standard lumber, and a lot of people like to use standard lumber on the inside to sandwich the frame. In other words, you get your cutout, you put your frame up there, and you put the 1x4 or 1x6 lumber around the periphery on the inside, clamp them together, and you've sandwiched the metal frame, and you've got a nice wide platform of over 2 inches to support your exhaust fan, keeps it from rocking, and it closes off that lower boundary very well. And so what you can also use if you sandwich it is you can use wood screws that go through your frame, your metal, and your interior frames. We also, Haslet Products sells the interior frames that fit in the grooves on the inside, and I'll show you that in a minute. And we actually have frames that fit and fill the void. It's got the protrusions here that fit exactly the ridge depressions, and so you can have a matching Haslet frame on the inside and outside. It looks good. It seals up real well. What we discovered though is that many people don't need to fill the gap on the inside. There's certain industries that do, and we sell quite a few of these, but most of your residential workshops and garages, just a flat piece of lumber running across, because your Haslet frame on the exterior side will seal the ridges and gaps, such that it's not that important to seal up all the gaps on the inside of your workshop. But if you have a need for our interior Haslet frames, or if you have a reverse formed building where this is the outside, we have the frames to fit that also. If you've already got a cutout, and I'm glad everybody's pretending like there's a cutout here. I'm too cheap to ruin a perfectly good channel here to cut it out for a demo purpose, but we're pretending like we already have a cutout. Or if you don't have the luxury of moving where the cutout will be, you'll want to use our Haslet Frame kits. The kits will come with three pieces. You'll get 2 horizontal pieces. You'll get an upper and lower piece. They're already cut to width. Here's a 3.5 inch. And they come super long. They'll come a lot longer than you think. For instance, if you have a 24-inch cutout, it needs to span the cutout itself 24 inches, the 2 frame pieces, so that's 3.5, say it's a 5.5 inch wide, so that's 11 inches extra that's added on. And then we give you enough in case you need to shift it because of whatever reason it's too close to the edge on one end and you need to shift it over an entire pattern, so that's additional 12 inches. So a 24 inch plus 11 plus 12, you'll end up with and we usually add an inch or 2 just to be sure. You'll end up with a 47 to 48 inch long piece for just a 24 inch. We've never had a customer say, hey, you sent me components that aren't long enough. They'll be long enough, I promise you. Now the horizontal pieces are easy. The vertical piece is different. You get one of those, it's really wide. And the reason is we don't know where this edge will be in relation to the pattern. So we give you one component. It's a pattern and a half. And we discovered that that is enough to let you set it up. And the trick is try to find a location where it fits in the pattern, it nests real good, and it overlaps into the pattern, into your cutout rather. Then what you do is have somebody, a buddy of yours on the inside, they get a pencil and they mark down the edge of the cutout. Then you take it down and you take this to the table saw and you cut down that line. And then while you're still on the table saw, move over 5.5 inches or 3.5 inches, depending on your width of your frame. And you make another cut, and that is your frame piece that will fit right here. Then you take the scrap that you didn't use and come over here, and here's a case where it overlaps just enough. You just need to overlap a little bit. You have your buddy again mark the line. Same thing, you go to the table saw, cut down that line, move over 5.5 or 3.5 inches, make the other cut, and you've got your 2 vertical frames. And if you do it right, you've guaranteed that they're going to fit right at the edge of your cutout. Once you trim it, install everything, your Haslet Frame Kit and your one-piece Haslet frame will look exactly the same. Your butt joints should be practically invisible, and it should be a good solution for your construction needs, giving you a flat surface that fills those gaps and makes it easy to install your exhaust fan or window.